They never really talk. No one ever really talks. They just kind of sit and look.
A static wind. Hey, what's going on in that pool? I know, right? I don't know. There is some tension, and I'm not quite sure what's happening. What do you guys think of the static wind?
Okay, so for me personally, like the atmosphere, the ambience was really sad, depressing, and all those things. So, like to sum it up, it was melancholic. I'm not sure if you know the word. It's like really depressing and sad at the same time. And the thing is that the environment of the film was like everybody was contained within themselves, that they couldn't be able to express like how they really are amongst each other. And then it's like until the older girl decided like, oh, like, yeah, did you ever think about this about your dad and all those things? Like it just makes all the like situation really uncomfortable. And it was kind of like really sad and depressing, but like good job for that.
Yeah, they hit their tone very well.
I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was beautifully shot, but one of the things that I really liked about it was I thought it had a unique perspective in terms of the character that was telling it. And I think what I mean by that is oftentimes when we think of like a 13-year-old and 8th grader, we automatically think, oh, that person's very young, they're very innocent. But I think the reality is, for people at that age, it's the first time in their life where they're having these thoughts about what it means to be a person and who they are, and they might have dark thoughts, and it's the first time they're having them, and they might not really know what they are and feel alone in that. And I thought this film was a really nice testament and reminder of that. And yeah, I really felt that in moments, like for example, in the pool, I was kind of like, oh, this is some dark content to have like a young girl around, but then I was like, wait a minute, that maybe not. Maybe these young people are exposed to that and we just forget it sometimes. So I liked that about this film.
Yeah, these filmmakers have caught something really interesting. They've distilled down the coming of age, not between adolescence and adulthood, but between childhood and adolescence. As you bridge that thing into like what it means to be alive and like what is the futility and meaning of our existence, you, at the same time, you're coming into this awakening of who you are as a person about to embark on this journey of becoming a teenager and then an adult, and what that means, especially because this character is going through without their mother. And that book that they're writing is really letters to their mother who they're never going to be able to send.
I love the sound in this film, the score, and the very subtle use of subdued background sound and sometimes even silence. And it creates just a lovely soundscape for the entire picture.
So what's your story? Stop moving. Do you want me to finish?
I don't really have one. I come here every year with my dad.
This is the one of all of your films here that I'd like to see again and again and again. There was just so many layers that you could explore here. So I would love to see this one again and again and again.
What a compliment to those filmmakers. Now, here's my question. This is what I took away from it, and I would love someone to tell me if they disagree or agree or what they think of it. In the beginning of the film, she's in the back seat and she won't put on the sweater. And she's kind of, obstinate about it. I'm fine. But in the end, on her own, while her dad is in the car, she crawls in the front seat and she puts on the sweater. There's something in that. And I choose to say that it's her transitioning into, I'm responsible for myself now.
I think it was her mom's sweater.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wasn't sure it was the mum sweater, but it was almost as though she became her own mum. It definitely was a transitional moment. It's a beautiful piece of work, and it's multi-layered, and I love the fact that it was set in the outback, which is a desolate place, and of course the background is this wrestling stuff from the 70s. So the whole mood was her trying to navigate in this kind of chaotic, hostile world around her, and keeping her head. And I love that journey that she took and how she eventually made that transition. And that moment at the end where she's got the sweater and it's almost sort of a moment of grace for her as the film winds up.
It's soft and it's subtle and it's small, but it's significant.
Yeah, it is. It's powerful.
I like the
the little montage near in the second half with the rest with the tube television. There's like bits with the wrestling and some TV ads, and it's just kind of just a moment for me to just kind of reflect on what just happened, and just kind of get little reminders like, oh, this happened, just like a moment to digest everything before the ending came. I thought that was, I really liked that moment.
It's a montage of childhood, and she leaves it behind.
Going back to what one of the persons said at the back about coming of age, I actually thought like for the, I think it's like 8-year-old boy, and then it's like her, she was like a little bit more 12 years old, and then the older girl was like 16 years old. It's like pretty much phases of a young kid's life. So it's like at the beginning, like with the little kid, it's like the person was so innocent, like he didn't have any care about the world. But then it's like as he keeps continuing about going inside that little place, it's like oh, it's like becoming more and more contained. It's like being more like nothing is really happening, nothing is going anywhere in life. And then it's like that's when like she looks at herself at later on in life. It's like she's gonna be more rebellious and stuff like that, like the older girl. So I thought it was like okay, it's like the coming of age of what she could become. But then it's like she decided okay, I prefer to stick with what I've written down for my mom, and then it's like I wanted to get that comfort back. So she decided to wear that sweater.
Interesting take for sure. It's a dark, you have a point earlier that it's dark. It's got these somber notes to it. It's visually, it's muted, its tones are darker. But at the end, it actually fades to white instead of to black, which is also interesting with that little angel on the top. Does anybody know what's going on with that older adult, that female character, that's Mia, the 16-year-old? What a rebellious, insatiable appetite for trouble that girl seems to have, like that character. We're reading her diary, painting faces without consent, smoking, all that. She's got this rebellious teen thing going on, but also one, she seems to want to shock people.
That pool scene is key because it's where the young boy and Mia and the girl basically are. This is where the central conflict is, and the water sort of simplifies as the boundaries are coming down, and it's now it's the point where the young girl is either going to survive psychically, she's going to hold on to herself under the assault of Mia and this other boy, and I think the war paint is crucial, symbolically, sort of savagery. And there were little touches like the magazine that the boy tears up and the pages fall into the, and I was trying to figure out who that female image was because I thought it was crucial symbolically. The small touch about her replacing one of the little stones on the side. So there's a lot of sort of stuff going on symbolically, and that's kind of, she's being thrown into the meat cleaver, and the question is she going to come out of this intact? And she does. And it just reinforces what a strong character she is. So, yeah.
Wonderful. You got an excellent point. There's a lot of symbology. And what's beautiful about it is that we don't necessarily know the meaning behind the symbology. We don't know what that little piece represents to her. We don't know what the, it's adorable and innocent that the boy is completely disgusted by the inappropriate images he finds, look at you, in the magazine. But it's innocent that he burns them. And there's so many little details in that together. And they're all transitioning into a person who's making a choice to become an adult.
So I was listening to the voiceover when she was pulling the tile out of the pool. And it's the story of her being encouraged by her mother to jump into the pool. So for me, the symbology is the trigger of the story. So somehow, and I haven't finally processed it at all, but they're all triggers to stories. And I think at the end, it's just, she's accepting the fact that she's writing letters and reminding herself of stories. She's looking at pictures. She's part of that story. And she's creating a story that says, by putting on the sweater, that she accepts her dad's help. That, to me, is what it was.
That's really interesting. Maybe it's that she's being responsible for herself by being a part of the family she has with her and her dad.
Not separated.
Yeah.